Hello, today we remember the death in 2001 of George Harrison, the Beatle who died at the age of 58 after a 4-year battle with cancer. He was always in the shadow compared with Paul and John. They were the ones who took the limelight, um, uh, uh, both musically and in terms of their compositions. Um, and it seems that this attitude wasn't just one that the public saw. It was also something that happened in the group. Of course, when they started, they were all teenagers, but John was 3 years older than George, and used to apparently say, "Why is that bloody kid hanging around all the time?" And apparently, this condescending attitude to him continued even after they were all multimillionaires. And so George had to put up with being what he himself described as the economy class Beatle. And I thought today it was worth just expressing some sympathy with those who have to experience being in the shadow of somebody else, whether it's in the family, a sibling who's always the favourite maybe, or more successful than you are, or at work or in a group of friends where one is always dominating and others go along. And sometimes this is fine and it's okay, but sometimes it can breed a certain amount of resentment or frustration. And I think we have to learn how to deal with that if this is the situation we're in. I'm not sure that George dealt with it terribly well. I mean, he was actually highly skilled. He was at least as good, so the critics say, a guitarist as others of his generation, Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton and so on. His compositions, My Sweet Lord, Here Comes the Sun, My Guitar Gently Weeps, some of them just as wonderful as the songs composed by John and Paul. And yet he was always uh, the third or even the fourth Beatle. And I think having to deal with this is difficult. I'm not sure that he did very well. One obituary described him as a miserable git. The phrase was later withdrawn, but George was by far the most touchy of the Beatles. He had a very acid tongue. He was very rude on one occasion to an air hostess who asked him if he wanted his lunch while he was meditating, and he said, "Can't you f off? Can't you see that I'm meditating?" He had a rather brusque way of dealing with people in private, though that probably didn't come over in the public interviews. And so today I just want to remember those who go through life in that situation. And sometimes you can escape it just by removing yourself from the other person's environment. But that isn't always possible. Sometimes you have to learn to live with it. And I hope it's possible to do that without developing the kind of slightly bitter, slightly miserable approach to life that George Harrison seems to have reflected in so much of the way he behaved.